time with that just absolute banging music.
I was invited to speak.
You were invited. I was alone here.
Ooh,
It felt
that's-
weird.
Hi, Matt. I'm super happy to see you there.
Yeah.
You can't.
Who-
I know.
Who is this person asking the important questions in our chat?
This stupid. Get out of here.
Well,
Oh
okay.
no,
about
I'm talking to my.
No, we worked with Matt before on some endeavors. We met at Vuga, and then we also were working together in TSG.
So
fun.
yeah,
I think Patrick has even longer history with Matt.
oh, our history goes way back. No, Matt is a freaking awesome person. Our history goes. Oh, geez, I'm getting
An
echo.
absolute legend.
Sorry, I'm testing. So, everyone, we're testing Restream, which allows us to stream live on YouTube and Twitter, and also Discord. So, we're just testing a few things here. So, just kind of bear with us as I'm setting this up. Everything seems good to go. We'll give a couple minutes. Also, I know Bruni, did you put it in chat already about
What?
our thing that we're doing during?
I did. I said we may or may not be doing the thing. So
Okay.
the smart ones will know.
Hey,
They're doing a giveaway. All right. Cool. Well, man, I have almost the same screen on, like everywhere, but it has different timing. So,
Interesting.
like, what's live on YouTube and Twitter is just like 10 or 15 seconds, depending on which one, lagging. So it's just like, whoa, what the hell? I gotta close this stuff. Anyway, it's 5:02.
yeah, very interesting.
Yeah, exactly. And we're filling the dead space. Okay, oh my god. Whatever, Matt.
Also, hi to Dino, our early supporter. I don't know, he's with us for quite some time.
Do you know? Hell yeah.
That is true.
OG. I'm sure Illist will be joining us at some point. Yeah, so one of the things about the town hall, especially as we start to do stuff like streaming on 3 different platforms, is just kind of figuring out how to get any AMA questions, because you will have to be on Discord for us to read the questions. I don't think any of us are going to be live on Twitter. Maybe, Bruni, you can look at Twitter, and Makita, you look at YouTube. I don't know.
Throwing us under the bus live.
I'm not throwing you under the bus. I just like I can look at only so many things.
I can track YouTube.
Yeah, I can. I'm on Twitter.
Okay. You know, I'm just going with your guys' strengths.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Twitter is like your hammer to Thor, and I don't know what YouTube is to Nikita. It's like Doctor Strange's cape.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. Let's get this going.
Are you drunk?
No. I'm going clean April. No drinking.
Again.
Yeah. The being in the U.S. during March, there was a lot of unhealthy habits.
I'm also keeping an eye on the chat here in Discord, in the town hall, not the rogue chat. And it's popping off, I'm happy to announce.
Hey, when you're in San Francisco, you have to live by the San Francisco rules. And if that means taking crack, well, damn it, you're gonna have to take crack.
Well,
That is a joke. Yeah, some people are probably like,
Anywho.
man, you might actually have to take crack if you're in San Francisco. All right. Well, Bruni, do you want to kick this off?
Yeah, for sure. Are we streaming to all the other
We're,
platforms?
we're streaming all over the place. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it then.
we're not messing around.
We're
Oh,
not messing
you know what
around.
I realized is that our cameras are not even on. How?
It's
Oh.
not possible, I think. Or is it?
Are we doing this on camera?
Oh my God! It won't let me. Oh, that's because it won't
No,
let
I'm there.
me because OBS has my little thing here. So I'll just like, oh, and then I gotta like move it around when you guys do it. Stupid OBS. We'll figure this out.
That's okay.
You know
We see you
that?
on YouTube.
Wait, is it Bill O'Reilly that has that famous YouTube clip where he's like, "Fuck it, we're going live." this is essentially what we're doing. No practice.
Love that for
Let's
us.
do it.
Oh my God, Mickey.
Nice.
What a maniac.
I didn't know we were supposed to bring shades. Next time.
Alrighty. Well, let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's do the thing. Welcome, everybody in Discord and beyond, to our Postman Town Hall. I'm joined today by my beloved co-founders, friends, and crazy people, Mikita and Finwitz. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves real quick for, peeps who are not familiar with who you are?
Do we have a choice?
Not really, no.
Yeah, all right. So, I mean, what kind of introduction are we talking about? How far back should we go?
Give them the context they want to hear. Who are you, man?
Who are you?
You are a maniac.
So, essentially, I'm doing like video games art already for like more than 15 years, and most of it was in mobile gaming. So essentially, I'm starting the project with concepts, like rough ideas, with whoever has this idea, usually like a product manager, and then we grow it into the full scope production. We sign outsourcer partners, like the full content go in, and then we figure out the marketing. And then I'm jumping to the next project. That was kind of most of my career, what I was doing. And there are some quite successful projects there, like June, where we also met with Patrick. I was acting as a studio art director for the last year, but now we decided to open our company, and I'm a co-founder with Finwit, who's taken over the product, but I'm supporting basically all the visual development of this studio.
Not bad. Patrick, want to take it away?
Yeah. Patrick McGrath. I've been in free-to-play games for over a decade. Yeah, specifically in free-to-play mobile games. Worked at some pretty cool companies. For the OG mobile gamers like Z2, PopCap, which got bought by EA. Actually, every company I worked for got bought by somebody. Actually, Matt, who we were joking around earlier, I worked with him at Natural Motion when they were being bought by Zynga. They did like the CSR franchises. And yeah, I've been working on some pretty large projects over the years. I think pretty excited with where they've gone and trying to bring that experience to Moonlit. Specifically with a new technology and a new shift in the way we can make games. leveraging blockchain for new experiences. And we'll certainly go more into that, but that's a bit about me.
Not bad. Thank you. So I guess we'll follow the format that we usually do in our spaces and rogue hours and stuff like that. So we have an icebreaker just to break the ice, I guess. We pull it usually from our GMs. So maybe people who are here have read this GM today, but I'll also be curious to hear your thoughts on it. So we had, what's something you learned from gaming that you apply to everyday life? Mikita. You take it away.
From gaming.
No.
Well, I guess if you really want to finish something, you need to put hours into it.
Mhm.
And yeah, I would say that.
I love it.
Okay,
This
not
this
bad.
is
So
this is like some fundamental truths. Like nothing is easy.
Yeah. You want to be good at something, like, keep doing this.
You know, don't be an NPC. Think for yourself.
Oh no.
Yeah.
it's funny because from our community on Twitter, actually someone said, well, I've learned that some people in our lives are NPCs. So I guess Mikita has the flip side of it,
Yeah.
which is funny.
I have a flip-flop side of it.
Dang. Yeah.
That's what's literally written on my flip-flops right now. Don't be an NPC.
You know, like
Right.
more than anything, playing and working in video games, like almost convinces me like this has to be a simulation. But we won't get too deep into that. It's just like as we see technology rapidly advancing.
Yeah, so immediately before this, I was reading about Auto GPT, which ties perfectly into this. But as you said, we're not getting too deep into that. Just planting the seed of we live in a simulation. But before we get sidetracked immediately, we're here actually today to talk about updates on what happens after the mint, right? But before we do that, let's go back to the actual whole mint situation and also what's the overall sentiment after that? Because the last time we did one of those, it was maybe 10 days before the mint. So yeah, it was a bit of a mixed bag of feelings. So I'm just curious to know how you're all feeling now that we have a successful mint under our belts.
Whew. It feels good to have it done. There was a lot of work that went into it on all levels. I think more than anything, that was a bit of I wouldn't say a letdown, but just like, I mean, we really wanted to have a playable for people to jump in and kind of have that iPhone moment where you're, you know, talking something up and then everyone's like, oh my God, when can I have it? And it's like, right now. And we weren't able to do that. You know, game development is tough, but you know, with a small team only slipping by a couple weeks, I think this is not too bad. I'm sure we're going to get much deeper into the details. But for us, or at least for me, like it was a big relief that for the most part everything went as well as it could have. And the amount of learnings that we had, like even just having conversation with Magic Eden yesterday, like everything was really good. And we're, you know, the partnerships that we made during the mint were really, you know, kind of you know, not superficial. Like it's actually deep partnerships in which we want to continue working together, growing and learning in the space. So for me, it was just like on a success metric, it was like really successful across the board.
It's awesome to hear. And what about for you, Mikita? What's the
Oh man,
feeling?
I'm happy it's out. And actually, this was hanging on my hard drive for quite some time in certain state. Of course, like not the final collection, but like somewhat almost done in between collection was hanging there from I think October or something like this. And it was kind of like uncertainty. In which way should we develop it? What should we do with it? So finally, it's done. It's out. Super cool. I am a little bit bummed about all this like unboxed NFTs.
Oh man.
It's like how it's turned out. Like this is a bit annoying when you're like, I want to see my collection. Fuck, for some reason some of them are like boxed again. So I think, we would need to figure out how to do it better next time. But I'm quite happy. I bought myself 15 NFTs. So I'm holding.
Yeah, I mean, I bought quite a few. I'll be doing probably weekly giveaways just, to say thanks. I mean, for us, like, we didn't do this for money, but for some of the royalties that we get, I think we'll just like reinvest that back into some of the NFTs and then use those for giveaways. And also, we really want to hold back the supply, the original 333 for in-game rewards, and just think, like years from now when in-game rewards could possibly have like a Genesis element, right? Like this, I think could be pretty interesting for the community to, chase these prizes.
Yeah, like one of
Awesome.
the aspects what was interesting to me to participate in all this, like sweeping the floor and stuff like this. You kind of need to understand how your product is like played when you build in a game, but also as elements and NFTs right now are part of the game. Like the whole experience becomes part of interacting with our product. And in this case, it was really nice to be part of the crowd, like as a customer of your own, and see, which ones would I like to buy, which are not. What is the price point where I feel comfortable to buy more? What kind of rarity, and I like kind of searching for. And I think just being there with people helps to understand what experience we want to bring. What better we can do with next collection. So things like that.
Cool. So that ties into my next question then. What was something that surprised you in the process of either leading up or the mint itself? Because it was a learning process for all of us, for sure. But what was something that you just didn't see coming? Or the
For
main lesson?
me, I think I should have like seen it coming, but I just didn't think of that. But when in Rogue chat, people started to like make plans about like how to raise the floor, how to like group buy certain like amount of assets, and then I see that some folks like bought 30 or 50 of NFTs. That was like, oh my god, wow, like what is happening? Yeah, that was really cool. Like, I really enjoyed that moment.
Yeah, that was really special. Yeah. To actually see it happening and having a life of its own and people really appropriating themselves with the thing that we put out in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Like this is where you
crazy.
see customers interacting with your product. This is where you see that real people use what you produce, like even in some way. And I think this is like the best what we can get from what we do.
Yeah, super early
That's
on.
right.
And also, I mean,
Yeah.
a fact of that is just like, I think what's interesting is the valuation models that people have, right? If you were to look at the spectrum of Web3, and let's just like use a scale of like absolute degen to almost like gamer, right? We were really trying to go for like the gaming audience. And of course, like, we really want the Web3 community to get in here, like no matter like degen speculator whatnot, but we really like focusing on game specific. And so just to even see the different valuation methods, like, people will go buy a PFP for, a couple $100 that in our eyes has such limited utility. Granted, our game isn't live yet. We're like a couple weeks away from the first playable, which we should probably get into soon. But for us, I think the value, even right now, for $5 is really great value, especially for what we have planned with the game. And as like an entry price point is super affordable, which we're happy about. Because again, we didn't like you don't run a free mint on Polygon, which is just like the ecosystem is growing right now, right? You don't do this for money. If we wanted to make money, we would have gone ETH. We would have
We
done a paid
definitely
mint.
fucked it up then.
And so like for us, it's just interesting to start there and then see how other people value it and in the wide spectrum they're using. I think that it's like crazy value right now where the prices are at. But it's
I think like there is a really interesting distribution of prices from like how much people want for the common one to how much is for the legendary, and it's actually quite believable of the distribution itself, like the price range, which I thought is pretty interesting, like even as experiment, because we made it so clear like what is common and what is not. Like you don't need to search for like parameters and stuff. You can clearly see it.
Oh man, what really pisses me off is that OpenSea only does a rarity based on yeah, man, I'm like looking at myself like quickly figuring out like what what emoji I want to drop in chat. But so yeah, so OpenSea won't allow us to do rarity with our collection because we have a numeric based parameter, right? We have a in-game boost. So this just kind of shows you where a lot of these major marketplaces are at. Like they want to go gaming, but they don't quite understand how to deal with gaming. Because if a single NFT and one single parameter, right? Plus 2%, plus 8%, plus 10%. We really have 5 parameters and they're linked to the background. And they can't like index rarity off of this. It's incredibly simple, but they just don't have it in their code because it's not a string. Like, wow, okay. So like this kind of just gives you like how early we are, that like one of the major platforms can't even do that. And so now we're doing things ourselves, trying to give the information to the community where, I think there's some really interesting things where there are rares and epics that are more rare than legendaries. Now, in-game attributes taken into consideration, I think this changes, but it is interesting to see that some of the attributes on these, what you would perceive as lower level, are still incredibly rare when you look at the types of attributes your element has, the Ellie has.
That, but also it just goes to show how in Web3 too, it's usually the community that comes up with solutions and spot the problems. So even before we shared our rarity because OpenSea just won't let us, there are already different websites popping up with their own calculations of it. I think I shared that with you. They're not like spot on, but
Yeah.
at least it's something. It's a jumping off point, I guess. So it's really cool to see. Also, how people are excited about this and committed to actually put in time to work out our system and share the information with others. So that was really cool to see. But I guess then we can slowly shift gears to the update part of things.
So you can say attributes or attributes as a super English person. Like, yeah, this is probably how attributes. Yeah, this is attribute. We'll get Matt on stage so everybody can hear this guy. Amazing voice. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Makita. It's just,
Some emojis were needed.
I don't even have to hover. I know it's you. Yep, that's unbelievable.
Sponsored by Junkies and Vegemite.
Well, okay.
All right.
I was really confused for a second. Now I'm reading the chat. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Priest,
cool.
you're an
Someone just
absolute
boosted the server.
legend. Yeah.
Nice.
As I do with everybody, like get them on that moon boosters. What up?
Well, you were quick. Damn. Okay. I was about to do it.
Gotta get them in there, you know.
Give people what they want.
Yeah.
So before we go into the proper update section of this town hall, can you, one of you guys, or you split, whatever, remind us of the utilities the elements are going to have in game and elsewhere too? Just so we have a little refresher.
They have utilities? No.
Awkward.
Who gave them utilities? This is ridiculous. No. I don't know. I mean, I can run through it real quick, Nikita, if you.
Yeah, you can do it.
All right.
And I can also do it.
So obviously, like, it's an in-game item. If you go look at the light paper, I updated it yesterday. So it kind of explains the model in which we're trying to shape pets. So the shape of the actual shape of the pet will signify what kind of boost it gives you. One of the more rare boosts will be attack damage, which is what this shape of pet does.
AKA horny.
Yeah, we've named it horny. We went through a quick 5-minute exercise because I didn't want to do this, but everyone proved me wrong that it is scalable to name shapes like this, but all right. Anyway, so really just from the rarity of every single pet in this collection, it's going to be quite unique and rare. Also, the scale of the boost itself, it goes from 2% to 10%. One of the things Neek and Demi are designers and kind of balance designer. We're arguing that we couldn't go above 5. And for me, it was like, man, fuck it. Like, why not just double it? This is Genesis. Like, we're only putting out, 3,333. For people that believe, like, in our early holders, like, they deserve to have that, benefit. So that's all, like, the gameplay aspect. Of course, access to the first playable. This is super important. And the first playable to us is really just that. It's the most basic elements of the game that we want to test and make sure that we are on the right track towards fun gameplay. And to give you an overview of what 2023 looks like is in the next couple of weeks, we'll have a first playable. After that, we will have a pre-alpha, an alpha, a closed beta, and a beta. With each one of these, we will be adding on new feature set and feature capabilities while also giving the user a much deeper, buffet, items on the buffet of things to do. So imagine during alpha, we really want to see the co-op aspect. So now you can play with friends, probably not pre-alpha, but alpha, we might start to sprinkle in some social features. Nothing too deep, nothing too large. When we get to closed beta, we might really widen that scope while adding matchmaking and PvP. And then once we go to closed beta, we start to scale these things. So this just kind of gives you an idea of what we're doing and the trajectory that the game will be built towards. Now, that's the super high level. One of the things that we're working on right now is breaking this down into granular feature sets and then understanding what we can do by when and what is needed in order to get these things into each of these builds. And one of the things that we're going to do, and we mentioned this in the holders chat, was we're going to create a outwardly facing kind of feature roadmap and let people see what our plans are, and so we can have that conversation and that feedback loop of what people are really wanting in the game, and kind of understanding the different desires from our user base as it starts to grow. So sorry, that started with the utility, went in a totally different direction. So another benefit is getting into holders chat, where there's a lot more discussion and more planned kind of sneak peeks. Of course, we'll be doing that in rogue chat, but I think holders will certainly be the first ones to get their eyes in their hands on things. Of course, future allow lists. We're going to be doing mints. I wouldn't say fairly often, but the fact that we've gone through this and we set up the process in a very scalable manner, I think this is another learning, is we were more prepared than what we realized. We didn't know what we didn't know, but we really, really kind of had stuff dialed in more than some other projects we've talked to. And so for us, like, we will be able to mint, like, again, not super often, but there will be more. So of course, Genesis holders will automatically future allow list for them. And then of course we will be doing, little airdrops for this collection. So be on the lookout. Makita,
Exciting
anything to
stuff.
Can we
add?
touch on this? Okay, cool.
Yeah, you basically answered all my questions, so I guess it did that quickly.
Everyone go home. No, just
Well, there is a comment about multiple elements on one character. So this one is not planned yet. We want to keep it like more strategic, where you would need to pick the right element for the right character, because they come, in some kind of coherence with what kind of weapon you have, what kind of character you have, what kind of dungeon you're facing. So you would need to set up yourself a nice salad of those things that are balanced to perform the best.
yeah. So
But
for
we'll
that,
see. Maybe it will change in the future.
well, okay. So just to give like some sneak peeks, like there will certainly be opportunities for game modes where we can do really wacky stuff. Bring multiple pets into a game mode because it's just that hard. Um, Also, there are, like, I'm not going to say that we're going to have breeding, because a breeding system is very complicated and complex. And for the things that we're doing right now, that's just one more thing to add to a small team. But it's certainly something that we've thought about. But we really are kind of going through, like, I hope this just gives you an example of the ideas in which we're looking at for people that are holding multiple elements. And I don't mean just like for the sake of variety and making sure that you can take on levels with the right elements to do the job, but something that is far more scaled towards the collection in larger collections of elements. So we really are thinking about that.
Nice. I guess we can also go. So we're getting some questions in the chat.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Mikita just touched on the first one.
Yeah.
And then Ice Cross asks, at which stage of the game will our progress in game save and the economy become active?
So this is an interesting one, because our approach to blockchain is twofold. Phase one, we're really paying attention to how we can leverage NFTs and to make sure that we're doing that in a scalable way that frankly doesn't fuck things up in the future. And I think one of the ways in which we are trying to learn as much as possible, is not digital, because no one's really done this very well, but looking more at physical. So one example is, kind of breaking down the way in which Magic the Gathering approaches creation, distribution, and rarity, foils, all of these types of aspects to a set, right? And so for us, this is something that we really need to hammer out and focus on. And so leveraging the NFT distribution is very important for us. So that's one side of the economy. That's just the item economy. While at the same time making sure that, we're having, I think, a pretty cool system in DNA, our deeds and achievements, which leverages provenance in a way that we haven't seen any other games try and leverage. So we want to make sure that, again, that is also balanced, because you have items that the longer they're in game have a more advantageous position to gain more and more high level DNA. So trying to balance these things out. Phase 2 would be more of the economic, hard currency, soft currency. Do we want to bring in ERC20s? How do we balance that? And luckily for us, this is something that will be a real conversation 6-9 months from now. And ideally, we'll be learning from a lot of games that are at least taking a shot in the right direction, because I don't think we've seen anyone do it correctly yet.
Not bad. Does that answer your question, Ice Frost, our friend? Let's see what's going on in the chat. Ooh, we have more coming. Would be ever a crypto token as game currency and trading? Binance?
Oh, yikes. If we did it, it wouldn't be, I don't know if we do Binance. No, I won't, no FUD on Binance here, but
Sure.
I mean, for us, there's that kind of ties in with the previous answer, where we're certainly looking at in-game currencies, but first things first, we want to make sure that the way we're leveraging 721s and 1155s make a lot of sense. And even just seeing, hey, how our DNA system, how deep we want to go with that. So yeah, we're nailing out those details first, and just kind of waiting and observing the industry and seeing if anyone at least gets in the realm of, hey, that looks like the right direction for a blockchain-based economy inside of a game.
I think that covers it, no? But let's see. Let's wait. We see people furiously typing away. Okay.
Is this where I have to say this is not financial advice and all this I hate right after everyone gives financial advice, they're like, this is not financial advice. It's yeah, it actually is. What are you talking about? That's why I'm here.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just going through the list of questions. I think we've kind of covered most of it. Probably the question we get the most on the daily is when first playable. You touched on it already, but could we maybe then share why we're not sharing an exact date just yet, and what are the complexities involved?
Alex, where are you? Why are you not here, Alex?
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm playing it every day.
Yeah. Well, this is exactly it. It's because we play it every day, and I see the changes on a regular basis. It's oh, we can't. Oh, this is getting better. Oh man, could you imagine 2 weeks ago, showing people that? No, so actually, one of the things that we're gonna do is over the weekend, Makita just did a super rough video of our environments. And of course, Makita has his like deep synth like music that he put to it because he's just Makita. It's just, but this is something that we'll certainly share. I don't know, probably today, because
Yeah, we can do it
what?
even today.
Yeah, why not? Because we just want to start showing people some of the stuff inside the game. Right now, it's a bit rough, but oh man, I like. I'm telling you, that's not what I want to see. I want to see a calendar somewhere. Like which week?
Yeah, so there are some essential things that we need to solve. So, for example, right now, like our UI is just trash in a way how it's assembled, and you can't just release this because, like, from the point you load the game till you go to gameplay, you're doing some banana stuff, and we can't ask our players to do that. So, it should act as a game, and unless we fix that, for example, we can't release it. But as Finwit said, we will start showing like more content from in-game itself, so everybody will be a bit more chill about like, hey, they're not just saying there is a product, it runs. So we'll start showing environments, abilities, maybe more characters, like some gameplay snippets. Yeah,
That's very
yeah,
promising.
maybe a movie.
But I would say that I mean we're in the realm of weeks. I'm thinking like 3 to 4 weeks. Like we will have something that we'll be handing out, and
Oh,
people.
no, he said it. He
Oh,
said it.
I know,
3 4 weeks.
I know.
Ah.
Hey man, you're lucky that I added four because we like it should be. It should be two. No, I'm just kidding. But it's
I'm out.
3 to 4 weeks. And yeah, I like. We're excited to get it in front of players. Again, this is as rough as it gets. Very, very base gameplay. So it'll be interesting to see how people interact. And one of the things that we want to do is just get feedback on things like speed of the character in the gameplay, character abilities, the way in which enemies are reacting. Of course, we're finding bugs all the time and trying to fix these things. Right now, just looking at the difficulty levels, these types of things that we, won't have perfect the first time. And these are things that we can bring in the community, and we can refine these things together at the earliest stage. So, is Matt? Is that for when the movie releases?
And since we're talking about, having the product in front of people and getting their feedback and stuff like that, what's the plan to actually collect feedback, interact with the gamers, and then incorporate their feedback into the game?
So right
I thought that
now,
Bruni will collect it all. So you will just have calls with people, interview them,
yeah,
collect the feedback.
I knew
yeah,
it.
yeah, we're gonna drop Bruni's number in Rogue Chat, and like just give her a text or a call. She'll no. Yeah. So on a serious note, I'm actually talking to a number of third-party providers that do kind of like streaming, and one of the ways that we can do this is not necessarily use stream, but we could actually record some of the gameplay, and this helps us identify like movement patterns and things that would be very interesting for us to understand from a gameplay aspect. So even though we're getting verbal feedback, we can always go back to the data and say, actually, you're getting through rooms in 10 seconds. So even though you're saying it's slow, like you're really getting through here fast. And so just to understand like what people's perceptions are, this all depends. Of course, this is additional work on top of getting a first playable out. So, that's one end of the spectrum. The other is we'll have a Google form. People can fill out things and give us feedback. And then, of course, jump into holders chat, wink, and give us the feedback there because this is probably the channel in which we're looking at right now the most.
Wink, wink.
Yeah. So those are the three methods right now: call Bruni, holders chat, and automatically like we are collecting data. That's the three.
All right, sounds good. Sounds like a good plan. So I guess that pretty much covers what we had on our end. Let's see if peeps have more questions here in the chat. I'll have a quick look-see on Twitter as well. If you guys want to add anything that I forgot to ask or something came up, now is the time. While we awkwardly look at other platforms to see what's going on.
So in-game voice chat will probably be more towards the stage where we have more social gameplay, because right now, if you can't play with someone, it would be a bit redundant of us to add voice chat, but this is certainly something that we would be looking towards as we start to build out the social layer of the game, especially for in-game, because it'll be easy to pick up and play, but for those that are trying to go really, really difficult events or difficult levels, like there's a certain depth to the strategy where like really every single person needs to be bringing something to the table. And so being able to talk about that is, I think, fairly important.
Cool. Ila's coming through in the chat.
Oh yeah, this there will be, yes. I will just say yes to Illis's last comment question about essentially getting to, hey, can we make sure that there's like skill-based events and gameplay inside the game? Of course. This will be something where you can look at it in two different ways. There is the strategic aspect, which is before you actually get into the gameplay, which is important. And I think anyone can do that. And then there's the actual how you're playing the game and the amount of counterplay that we allow each of the characters. So how do you use dashes and heals, shields, and your abilities? So this is something that I was waiting for Matt to ask this. But Illa's great question. Simple answer, yes. Will there be autoplay? This is something that we will certainly have to look a little more into in the way in which autoplay would work. But we know that like for RPGs, this is something that is an important aspect. We just need to make sure that we don't screw up our economy, especially the way in which you would have, an NFT based economy tied in with a utility token economy and pulling in autoplay and what that means on at least a time basis. So there's certainly a balancing act there, but it's something that is on our radar. I'm not sure if we will or not at this point.
Well, definitely not the scope of early features. If we will get
no, hell no,
things,
guys,
like,
it's all of this.
sometime in like far future.
Cool.
But as I
All
said,
right, so I guess
I was just gonna say, 2023 is full of many updates. We're pretty aggressive in the way that we want to approach this and build out the game. Yeah, so I mean, there's a reason why Alex isn't here. It's because he's locked in a basement somewhere, just pumping out massive amounts of features and code. Like, it's just like, this guy hasn't seen daylight in weeks, and that's okay.
It's true.
Did you feed him? Like, is it your turn today?
I left the water bowl by the door. No, Alex, we love you, man.
We have to stop saying this in recordings, you know? Like we
Oh, like everyone knows we're joking. Alex is our lead engineer. He's an absolute badass, and he wants to jump on a lot of our town halls, our podcasts, our spaces, but for him to spend an hour doing this means he doesn't spend an hour actually building the game, and for him, like he just can't justify it. So we keep inviting him. He keeps turning us down, and then we make jokes to make ourselves feel better because we were so rejected. Yeah, it hurts.
well
No, I'm
this
just kidding.
escalated very quickly. Anywho, before we wrap this then, I think it's time to share the thing that we may or may not be doing. And as it turns out, we are actually doing the thing. We're giving away an NFT for people who are tuning in live. I am going to drop in the chat the link to the Superfi campaign. And then
I made sure it was a rare, just for you guys, just for the real ones out there.
just for the rare, real ones.
Also, code word banana hammock. No, I'm kidding. It's not. It's
It's banana tree.
yeah. All lowercase, right? Yeah.
All lowercase, yes.
I think.
So the campaign, it's open for registration for another 25 minutes. So don't sleep on it.
I think that's it. Banana tree. Yeah. When you start to put words together, this is where like my eyes are like, what the hell is that? But this is how it is written. Toss it in there.
Welcome to Germany.
Yeah, exactly. Germany has changed me. It's
Exactly. So this is your chance to add to your element collection or snag one if you don't have one yet. You have 25 minutes and there's nothing else you need to do. You have to just add banana tree to it and Superfine will work its magic. If you win, the NFT will be airdrop automatically to you. And if not, as Patrick mentioned, we'll be doing a lot more giveaways. So just bear with us and eventually an element will find your wallet. Yay. Any last comments before we wrap? What do you mean to complain to if I don't win?
classic Matt. Yeah, so it's not an email, it's actually a phone number. I'll put it in road chat later. Last comments, no. Thanks everyone for showing up. We are, kind of testing out a lot of different things, just trying to keep everyone updated. So, bear with us. Also, feel free to give any feedback, ask questions. And we're just excited. We're excited to just interact more now that the mint is out of the way, and that's not taking up so much headspace. And just excited to build together and get this show on the road.
Nice.
Enjoy your day.
Nikki.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody.
I will build.
Catch you next time. We'll also have a Rogue Hour tomorrow on Twitter. Same time. I'll pop the link soon here. And catch you guys in the next one.
Ciao. Bye-bye.